Good afternoon, sports fans. Is live from Seekonk, Massachusetts, our first ever edition of And That's the Game on the road. Of course, later tonight, we will be in Providence, Rhode Island for SFBN.Live's coverage of RIIL. That is a tongue twister to say. RIIL boys soccer will be at Connolly Stadium later on today. But of course, we come on the air today with breaking news and very sad news, especially to the Boston community, the New England community, and to those of us who live and work in sports media. Tommy Heinsohn, who was a phenomenal player, a phenomenal coach, a phenomenal broadcaster, has passed away. Nicknamed Mr. Celtic, we have unfortunately lost Tommy Heinsohn, and it makes me recollect on people who I've had a chance to either meet, who I've had a chance to hear speak at times, who I've had a chance to see act their careers out, and thinking about the inspiration that comes. We talk so many times about idols, and whether it's players, whether it's coaches. For many of us in the sports broadcasting community, it's about the people who we find ourselves wanting to model the style of what we do after. I was very fortunate when I was younger and just kind of, getting going and figuring out what I wanted to do with my life, that I got a chance to actually meet Bob Lozier. The name might not be familiar to so many people, but Bob Lozier was one of the very first anchors when CNN created headline news. He was part of the regular CNN news division, moved over to CNN, and then, in the midst of time, as he was kind of phasing out of his career, wrote a book called 5 Seconds to Air, which for those of us in the television community know that phrase very, very well when you hear that come through your earpiece from a producer. And one of the things that I got to hear from him was find the people who make you realize that your talent isn't the same as everybody else, but you're going to add your own flair to it. And that's what I've always tried to do in my career. And that's what Tommy Heinsohn, as a broadcaster, did in his career. Tommy was a part of that group, the people like Heinsohn, like Joe Buck, like Dick Vitale, Stephen A. Smith. And I'm going back and forth on generations here because I'm trying to showcase the fact that everyone has done something that has made them memorable at some point. And we just lost today one of the greats of broadcasting. We have lost one of the gentlemen of sport, but a character of what we do in media. And it is, for the Boston community especially, it is a sad day today with the passing of Tommy Heinsohn. In other news, college football is still having issues. Wisconsin just today reopened their football facilities. Whether or not they will play this weekend, still yet to be seen. They have canceled their last 2 games out of the Big Ten, so we don't even know if Wisconsin will be able to play. If they do not, it will be a third cancellation. It will leave them with not enough games, even if they were to win out to become bowl eligible. So Wisconsin might find themselves this weekend on the outside of the bowl structure in January looking in. This is affecting across the board. There are teams coming out of the Pac-12 that have not even yet played a game, even though the Pac-12 just started last weekend. They've only played 1 game. But there were games canceled in the Pac-12. There have games been canceled in the Big Ten. There are games being canceled in the SEC. There are games that have been canceled in the ACC. And it begs the question, was it necessary to play college football? The NFL, maybe I can understand that situation because we're talking about bigger dollar revenues and professional athletes. Was it necessary to play college football? My answer is no. And here's my problem with college sports as a whole. You are student athletes. Yes, you're athletes. We're not going to discredit you in that respect. But you are student athletes. College sports needs to be put back into the box of being secondary to what these gentlemen, ladies are going to their respective schools for. You should not be picking a school based on whether it's a Nike school, an Adidas school, or an Under Armour school. You should not be picking a school based on whether you're going to win a championship or not win a championship. You should not be picking a school based on whether you're going to get drafted in the first round or whether you're going to get drafted at all. You should be picking a school based on what am I going to get out of it academically that's going to set myself up for the future. In college football, only 3% of players who play college football make it in some semblance of a way into the NFL. So when you think about that, think about the respect that we should be putting college football and college sports as a whole back into a secondary level. And this situation, this year, right here in the last couple of months, shows you that college sports should be secondary to anything else right now. I am a huge college sports fan when it's right. When the time is right and there's a time and place for everything. We are going towards 150, maybe 200,000 cases a day of new positive cases in the COVID-19 pandemic. And the number one story that we're talking about in sports is that Wisconsin didn't play again, is that Arizona didn't play, is that Alabama's coaches are testing positive, is that Tom Izzo, the head coach of Michigan State basketball, tested positive for COVID. We are hitting on the Notre Dame student body for charging the field after beating Clemson the other night and questioning whether or not that was a smart thing to do, whether or not Notre Dame has a potential issue, and they do. We don't have positive test results out of South Bend yet, but immediately the next day, they had to institute a mandatory testing policy for all students, for all members of the football program as well, for anyone who was in Notre Dame Stadium on Saturday night. We have to be thinking smarter about what we are doing. We have to be thinking smarter. Final story for today on And That's the Game is the Philadelphia Union have finally done it. After 11 seasons, the Philadelphia Union defeated the New England Revolution 2-0 the other night to capture the 2020 Supporters Shield. They are the number one team, the best team in the MLS. They have the number one seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. They'll have a bye in the first round and home field advantage throughout. Congratulations to Jim Curtin and the Philadelphia Union. Hey, this is how you do it. Lowest budget in the MLS, most number of homegrown players. You want to change domestic soccer in the United States. You want to change the future of U.S. soccer. This is how you do it. Congratulations to all the boys in Philadelphia at Subaru Park. And congratulations to the $5 million man, Brendan Aronson, who had a great finish to his MLS season. He will be with the Union throughout the playoffs before he departs for Germany. And I will guarantee you we're going to see Aronson on a U.S. soccer roster very, very soon. And that's the game for November 10th, 2020. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you in just a few short hours, 6:30 p.m. live, RIIL soccer action from Connolly Stadium in Providence, Rhode Island. It will be the Central Knights against the LaSalle Academy Rams. I will have the call for you in just a few short hours. Till then, stay safe, wear your mask, socially distance, wash your hands, listen to your public health professionals, and we'll be all together in a stadium cheering on our teams very soon. Thank you all. Good night.